Hey everybody, what's up, real progressives? This is Rocco Million. I'm here today to talk about trolls and MMT and trolls and how we get trolled at real progressives on a fairly common basis. Yesterday, come to my attention that one of my Facebook friends was talking major shit on real progressives and Steve and the whole MMT community. Turns out people like Sarah Frails, whoever she even is, just a few weeks ago, she was asking me to do shows with her. You know, I should have known then because I said, well, sure, you could come on RP with me. You know, we'll do a show. And she said, oh, no, no, no. You know, they already got their own thing going. You know, I should have known then something was wrong. But then when I saw her post yesterday, you know, calling out Steve and Joy, Savage Joy and RP, and calling MMT a PSYOP or controlled opposition. And I found out that we all get paid by the CIA. Yeah, I was more than surprised, and I'm smiling about it because it's really sad, really. And I have to smile about this to keep from flipping out and getting really mad or getting sad, because people's lives are hanging in the balance. You know, while these conspiracy theorists, they say they want to save lives, but they don't want the solutions. When we tell them, you know, our government never needs revenue, period, or profit to save lives, to spend today, they get mad. They call it, they say it's a PSYOP. It's controlled opposition. But they yet can never offer any logical rebuttal. You know, there's nobody who has ever been able to rebut the scientific facts that MMT explains and describes. You know, this, you know, the debt of the government is the asset of the non-government. When government spends dollars into existence, those dollars are the debt of government. It's promising to accept it back, to extinguish our tax obligations. And those same dollars are our assets in the private sector, in the non-government sector, because they extinguish our tax obligations. So it's sectoral balances, and they don't lie. The government's debt is our asset in the non-government. And sectoral balances always net to zero. When you add together the government's balance sheet and the private sector's balance sheet and the foreign sector balance sheet, it always nets to zero. You can't fudge the records. Sectoral balances don't lie. It's just simple logic. I mean, what are they saying? Are they saying double accounting, double entry accounting is a PSYOP? I mean, it's like saying 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4, but we're not going to tell you why. You know, we're just going to say, no, you're crazy. 2 + 2 don't equal 4. And if you believe that, then you're working for the deep state. You're getting paid. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. You know, if you're going to, you know, using simple logic, I don't need to be a PhD. You know what I mean? And if you're going to tell me I'm wrong, you know, you're going to at least have to explain why I'm wrong in simple logic, right? I mean, just to go around and say that people that are talking about how we save lives are, you know, really getting paid by the CIA or a CIA a PSYOP of some kind, or controlled opposition to help capitalism, you know, you better be able to back that up with some simple logic. I mean, this is sick. This is sickening, you know. The Federal Reserve, you know, people, I'm convinced that when people do this, when they troll, it's really about advocating any of their own personal responsibility for what's going on in the world today. You know, people want to be able to say, oh, well, we're powerless. You know, what could we do? We're powerless. So, oh, well, you know, and anybody that even tries to talk logic and explain that actually we, the people, have all the power collectively, and we could force our government to do anything we want. You know, that's majority rule. If we all stay home from work, there is no society. So I don't care if the elections are rigged. I don't care, you know, if our government is fascist. It's because we allow it collectively. And if we unite in solidarity, we can overcome that. It's that simple. And that's where MMT comes in, because MMT, it destroys the myths and the legends that keeps us divided. MMT has the ability to unite Republicans and Marxists. Come on. I mean, that's insanity. MMT is the reason why a Republican like Mike Norman can be in reality to the left of a Bernie Sanders. I mean, that's just a fact. Because when you learn the operational reality, it's non-ideological, it's non-partisan, it's not ideological. It's just operational reality. And so the fact of the matter is, it all starts with Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Government is mandated to mint and tax to provide for the general welfare and for the common defense thereof. All right, that's not an opinion, that's a fact. So that right there is telling us government never needs revenue or profit. Government is mandated to mint and tax dollars into existence from thin air. So when government's spending dollars into existence, that money goes somewhere. Them dollars go into the non-government. They're the debt of the government and they're the asset of the non-government. It's simple double entry bookkeeping. It's not a conspiracy. It's not controlled opposition. The ruling class feeds on pessimism. These nihilists, they're stopping progress with their bullcrap. And so, we got to come out and regularly put rebuttals out for these people. When I seen that yesterday, I was disgusted. You know what I mean? Steve Grumbine devotes his life, to educating the public, to starting this revolutionary organization, Real Progressives, to educate the public, to unite us in solidarity, to give the power back to us, and to be attacked for that, to attack Savage Joy, who, gives up 4 nights a week to interview candidates, to quiz and make sure that they truly represent the people, to attack her for that's insane. That's not progressive. All right. That's regressive by definition. All right. The fact of the matter is, instead of focusing on conspiracy theories, we can learn actual truth. Saying that conspiracy theories aren't real. When you're talking about the Federal Reserve, we all know that the Fed doesn't work for the people, because government doesn't work for people. All right. It doesn't work for the people. Our government is bribed and coerced, and they're controlled by the 1%. So, we're not saying that the Federal Reserve is doing its job. We're just saying it's simply not privately owned. And to say that we can't do something because the Fed is privately owned and they won't let is to which are, Congress can make the Fed do anything with law. All right. The Federal Reserve was willed into existence by congressional decree and with the mandate of public purpose. All right. The Federal Reserve Board of Governors is handpicked by the President of the United States and then confirmed by the Senate. They're non-profit. They transfer all their profit back to Treasury every year. And it's a public institution. They self-publish their own books. All right. And they can't fudge the books because, again, sectoral balances don't lie. And they always add up to, they always net to zero. So, show us another private institution that's structured in this way. You can't. It's not logical. And the bigger point of this is we only have 2 options to balance our economy, which is either public spending or private credit. All right. When we starve the economy of public spending or deficit spending, the only other option is monetary policy of the Federal Reserve and private credit. That's horrible because private credit always dries up. which leads to booms, busts, and bailouts that only help the rich. And the government has the deficit enough to bail out the rich anyway. What we're saying is, why focus on the Federal Reserve when if Congress spends enough up front, they deficit spend enough up front, and they distribute it to balance the economy by spending at the bottom with a federally guaranteed living wage job. Every single wants one. Then the Federal Reserve and private credit is irrelevant. People aren't dependent on private credit to begin with. People aren't vulnerable to predatory lending to begin with. But so why would we want to focus on the Federal Reserve? Saying that we have to end the Fed before government can spend and save lives, that isn't very progressive, and it's not true. All right, Congress has all the power. Congress is the problem, and Congress is the solution. All right, we could unite in solidarity at any time in America and force our socially owned government to satisfy the general welfare of society, all right, as it's mandated to do by the Constitution. It's that simple. Why the capitalist class has no power. That isn't the lever of power. The lever of power rests with government. And that's proven by the fact that the 1% bribe government. So that's why they bribe government, because government is the lever of power. All right. So if we unite in solidarity, all the influence in the world, all the cash in the world ain't going to be able to buy government, because there's no society if the working class stays home. So, we can make the 1% irrelevant, and we could force our socially owned government to do its job as mandated by the Constitution, regardless of federal revenues, regardless of the exchange rate, regardless of the markets, foreign or domestic, regardless of the Fed conspiracies, all right, regardless of hyperinflation scare tactics, all right, regardless of all the bullshit, all right. So, if you want to talk about PSYOP, you want to talk about something being a cult, look at the conspiracy freaks, okay? Because they're the ones that don't give a shit about saving lives. They're more concerned with, looking cool, with getting views, all right? They're more concerned with conspiracy, with actually saving lives. Our government never needs to tax anybody to spend. Our government never needs to cut defense to spend. Those things are good and they should be done, but they should be completely separate from spending. Spending at the bottom on saving lives has to be the number one priority. And this is simple logic again. So don't tell me I'm getting paid too. I mean, look around. I live in abject poverty. Okay? I'm a freaking high school dropout, addict. You know what I mean? So, I do this because it makes sense and it's humane. This is about empathy. This is about love and compassion and just simple logic. So, we have to, when we see these people, most of the time, it isn't even, give them a chance at first, see if they're going to learn, see if they're going to, put in the effort. They don't even stick it around. That's why I deleted that girl, and I deleted Tony Smith a long time ago. I delete these people now because they're trying to obstruct progress. We're trying to make progress. Okay. And the good thing is most people get this stuff. When they hear about it, something clicks, and they know instinctively we're telling the truth, although at first it is counterintuitive, because how we think of our own budget has nothing to do with the federal budget, who makes their own dollars at will by congressional decree. But because it's such simple logic, anybody can overcome cognitive dissonance simply by diving into the material. I'm going to put Dr. Kaboob's presentation in the comments, and then tomorrow I'm going to do a video doing an overview of his video, because this is what we need to be talking about. This right here, this is just an impromptu thing. This is a waste of my time, a waste of everybody's time. But it must be done because, there has to be a rebuttal to the BS and the nonsense, all right? Or God forbid, good people be led astray. You know what I mean? This is about movement building. And I take my cues from my RP family. So when you see these people, tell them the truth, tell them the deal. And if they don't get it, delete them, cut them out. They don't deserve your time. They don't deserve your words. They don't deserve your compassion for sure. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Check me out tomorrow at 8 p.m. I'll be doing an overview of Dr. Kaboob's great presentation he gave to the Democratic Socialists of America in Columbus, Ohio, where he talked about what is actually possible with the knowledge of our actual operational reality, MMT. That's the goal. That's gold. All right. That's vital information. All right. Not conspiracy theories about Jekyll Island. All right. not PSYOP conspiracy theories about, you know what I mean? So thanks a lot for your time, and make sure you don't fall for the noise and you stay focused on the goal. We're going to get through this. We're going to win this struggle. We will save lives. We will take our government back, and we will force our socially owned government to satisfy its constitutional mandate to the general welfare. Peace.